you had to wait for something, whether that took days, weeks, months, maybe even years, you know, and you probably agree with me that waiting sucks. And it really does. I mean, of course, it's great to talk and say that you have to be patient about things and you should wait for things. I'm not saying being patient is bad. Being patient is very good. But in reality, if we're all being honest, waiting sucks. And I'd say there are two kinds of waiting. There's the kind where you're being told, okay, this is the amount of time, and there's the time frame in which you have to wait for X amount of time, and then you get what you're waiting for. That's fine. I can do that. I'd much prefer to wait for that kind of thing because I know even if I get tired, I know that at this point I will be done and I will get what I'm waiting for. The kind of waiting that really, really sucks is the kind where they don't tell you how long you're waiting for, and you don't know how long it is going to take, whether it's going to take days, is it weeks, is it months, maybe even years, maybe even years. But yeah, you just have to wait and keep hoping and praying and wishing that it finally arrives on this day. I'll give a very personal story of mine that I had to wait for. So I finished high school and I applied to different universities, and as you know, that can also take some time as you're waiting to hear back from each one, hoping that you get into one of them, which is understandable. But and well, I got into one after finally kind of figuring it out roughly what I wanted to do in university, and my sister told me um, to apply to one that she had attended, and I applied to it. And after the whole application process, I got in. Great, I got in. All right, let's go get the visa. Let's go get the visa. So I went into the interview. I had to travel from where I was to the capital city to do the interview. I was very nervous because this was something that literally determined whether I got to go to the university to study or not. And so I was definitely very nervous. And I was so much nervous that I was kind of shaking, but not violently shaking, but I could feel that I was shaking because of how nervous I was. All in all, I went there, I attended the interview, and I finished. It didn't take as long as I thought it would have taken because I've never done a visa interview before. I did it and it was great. I was relieved. I was so happy. It was finally done. All I had to do now was just wait until I got the results that said I could go and everything would be fine. That was until waiting went from days to weeks, and weeks slowly crawled into months of waiting for the verdict on the interview. And what made it hard for me was that I had to wake up every day and check my email to see if they sent anything, just so I know that okay, is the verdict arriving like through a package or something? Have they sent it through email? I wake up every day, I check my email, I don't have anything. All right, go through the day, next day, same thing. Wake up, check the email, nothing, repeat. And it got really frustrating to the point that I got tired. I didn't want to wait anymore. I wanted to be done with waiting and I wanted to just get the results and go. Unfortunately, for me, I got rejected and it didn't work out. And so I did spend all that time waiting. And even though I waited and waited and waited, what made it even worse was that I didn't know whether it was a yes or a no. So I was just waiting to hear the response. And I waited so long, I got so tired of waiting, but I couldn't make it go faster. I couldn't find a way to increase the speed. I just had to wait, whether I wanted to or not. And I waited, and I still didn't get it. So that was really frustrating. I definitely was angry with Well, I guess angry kind of with myself in a way, and just angry in general because I waited so long, and my family, we prayed about it, and I prayed about it, and I asked God, like, to grant me this, and well, it didn't happen. And so I had to reapply, and yes, I reapplied for the visa, and what would you know? I had to wait again. And I waited and waited, and I wouldn't, it would be nice to say that, yeah, this time it was definitely a breeze. I just knew it was gonna take time, so I didn't have to worry so much. It wasn't any easier. It really wasn't. I still had to wait and hope that this time it'd be a yes. And I waited and waited. A month passed, 2 months passed, and I was still waiting. Finally got the verdict, and I was accepted this time, which made the waiting definitely worth it because if I got rejected twice, yeah, yeah, it wouldn't be great. So yeah, it was very frustrating, and I don't like waiting. Not saying that I'm impatient. I can definitely wait, especially if I know how long I'm waiting for. But if I don't know how long I'm waiting for, it gets really, really tiring to just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. And what can make it worse is that you may not even know how long you need to be waiting for and if you even get what you're waiting for. So, yeah, this was kind of a rant, but waiting really does suck. It really does. But sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes. And hopefully, even if you're waiting for something right now, hopefully it's worth it for you too, that you get what you're waiting for. All right, I'll see you around.